Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Earnest or urgent request. Someone who prays to God. The act of communicating with a deity, especially as a petition or in adoration or contrition or thanksgiving. The priest sank to his knees in prayer. Reverent petition to a deity. A fixed text used in praying. Attractiveness that interests or pleases or stimulates. His smile was part of his appeal to her. Request for a sum of money. An appeal to raise money for starving children. Earnest or urgent request. An appeal for help. Be attractive to. The idea of a vacation appeals to me. Request earnestly, something from somebody, ask for aid or protection. Appeal to somebody for help. Cite as an authority, resort to. I appealed to the law of 1900. Challenge, a decision. She appealed the verdict. Law. A legal proceeding in which the appellant resorts to a higher court for the purpose of obtaining a review of a lower court decision and a reversal of the lower court's judgment or the granting of a new trial. Their appeal was denied in the superior court. Take a court case to a higher court for review. He was found guilty but appealed immediately. Earnest or urgent request. An entreaty to stop the fighting. Someone who prays to God. Humbly entreating. One praying humbly for something. A humble request for help from someone in authority. A prayer asking God's help as part of a religious service. The act of communicating with a deity, especially as a petition or in adoration or contrition or thanksgiving. Reverent petition to a deity. A formal message requesting something that is submitted to an authority. Reverent petition to a deity. Write a petition for something to somebody. Request formally and in writing. Express the need or desire for. She requested an extra bed in her room. The verbal act of requesting. A formal message requesting something that is submitted to an authority. Ask. A person, to do something. I requested that she type the entire manuscript. Inquire for information. I requested information from the secretary. The verbal act of requesting. A person who manifests devotion to a deity. A feeling of profound love and admiration. Love unquestioningly and uncritically or to excess. Venerate as an idol. Attend religious services. They worship in the traditional manner. Show devotion to a deity. Many Hindus worship Shiva. The activity of worshipping. Writing that is venerated for the worship of a deity. Writing that is venerated for the worship of a deity. Writing that is venerated for the worship of a deity. Writing that is venerated for the worship of a deity. Impassioned appeals to the prejudices and emotions of the populace. A man's courting of a woman, seeking the affections of a woman, usually with the hope of marriage. Request for a sum of money. The act of enticing a person to do something wrong, as an offer of sex in return for money. An entreaty addressed to someone of superior status. A solicitation to the king for relief. A solemn and earnest appeal to someone to do something. Enhance the appearance of. This behavior doesn't suit you. Be agreeable or acceptable to. This suits my needs. A man's courting of a woman. Seeking the affections of a woman, usually with the hope of marriage. Accord or comport with. This kind of behavior does not suit a young woman. A comprehensive term for any proceeding in a court of law whereby an individual seeks a legal remedy. The family brought suit against the landlord. A set of garments, usually including a jacket and trousers or skirt, for outerwear all of the same fabric and color. They buried him in his best suit. A petition or appeal made to a person of superior status or rank. Be agreeable or acceptable. This time suits me. Playing card in any of 4 sets of 13 cards in a pack. Each set has its own symbol and color. A flush is 5 cards in the same suit. Slang. A businessman dressed in a business suit. All the suits care about is the bottom line. A man's courting of a woman. Seeking the affections of a woman, usually with the hope of marriage. Impassioned appeals to the prejudices and emotions of the populace. A humble request for help from someone in authority. An answer indicating why a suit should be dismissed. Law. A defendant's answer by a factual matter, as distinguished from a demurrer. A man's courting of a woman. Seeking the affections of a woman, usually with the hope of marriage. It was a brief and intense courtship. A person who is paid to pray for the soul of another. A person who is paid to pray for the soul of another. A desirable state. Enjoy the blessings of peace. The formal act of approving. He gave the project his blessing. The act of praying for divine protection. A short prayer of thanks before a meal. A ceremonial prayer invoking divine protection. The act of praying for divine protection. A ceremonial prayer invoking divine protection. Religious zeal. The willingness to serve God. Feelings of ardent love. Their devotion to each other was beautiful. Commitment to some purpose. The devotion of his time and wealth to science. Usually plural, religious observance or prayers, usually spoken silently. He returned to his devotions. The act of intervening, as to mediate a dispute, etc. A prayer to God on behalf of another person. Call for and obtain payment of. We collected over $1 million in outstanding debts. Assemble or get together. Get or gather together. Payable by the recipient on delivery. A collect call. Gather or collect. Get or bring together. A short prayer generally preceding the lesson in the Church of Rome or the Church of England.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.